Hey, what's up everybody? Dr. Ray, and today what we're doing is I'm going to walk you through iSpring Suite 11. This is an interactive authoring multimedia e-learning development tool for instructional designers or those who are trying to create training. I'm going to tell you my thoughts about it, show you some of the cool features, show you a quick example just to kind of give you a feel of what this software does. All right, so you can see up here on the screen, I've got it pulled up. And to start out, you see like on the left side here, you can choose what you want to do. They kind of have broken the software up into different components, but if you just click create a course, you can basically do most of these. So we're going to do that so I can show you all of these and talk about it. So I've clicked create a course. Now what pops up on the screen is PowerPoint. Yes! This software actually works with PowerPoint. It's packaged into it, which is super cool. What that means is you can take all the advantages and cool things about PowerPoint, which if you've watched my videos, you know I love PowerPoint for computer-based training, and allows you to do all of that, plus all this cool additional stuff, which I'm going to show you. And that's the beauty of the software, because you know I've said PowerPoint is the branching scenario master, because it really is. That means this software can take advantage of that. So let's talk about all the cool stuff this software does. So just like PowerPoint, you create screens, new slides, and stuff like that. Up here on the, and you can see like in PowerPoint, like it says iSpring Suite 11 at the top because these are all the iSpring options. But if I click like view, like that's, you know, PowerPoint functionality. But I really, really love that this works with PowerPoint. Another advantage of that, when my clients have to actually edit something, it's super simple for them to do it because it's something we run into with a lot of our projects, especially with our smaller clients. All right, so on the left-hand side of the screen here, I'm going to start. I'm just going to talk about each one of these options and what they do. I'm not going to show you all of them in light of time, but we've got record audio. Basically allows you to record, you know, like podcast type audio. Same with video. You can record your video. You can make like a video lecture with this software. Now in that, there's some really cool stuff. Like if I click this manage narration button, oh yeah, we got to save our file. Now we haven't recorded any audio, but in this manage narration, there are some cool like hidden features that I want to bring about. One is text to speech. This software includes text to speech, and some of them are actually pretty good that you can use that I would use in training. Like this one, Evelyn standard voice. Let's just take a quick listen.
Hi, my name is Evelyn. I can easily convert your text to speech.
Not too bad. Jaden standard voice. I'm just picking out some of the better ones that I thought.
My name is Jaden. I can easily convert your text to speech.
Honestly, those aren't too bad. My whole goal with, let me close that, with text to speech is to make it not sound robotic. I think those are pretty good. This is a technology I'm always super excited for. This is a beta version of that, so keep that in mind, but it's not bad. And it's definitely usable. So super important. That's a big feature in my opinion. We've got quizzes. Now the quizzes that you can create in iSpring are basically what you'd want to include for those of you using LMSs, and has all the basic things like you can create a graded quiz. You can choose what kind of information is going to be on the graded quiz. You can I'll create a question here just so you can kind of see the types of questions. Every kind of question you're going to want to think of, like a hotspot, matching, true, false, multiple choice, is here. And you got all the options about, you know, do you want it to be branching? Where do you want the feedback to go? How do you want the feedback to appear? How do you want the quiz to be scored? What is the end user going to see? All that good stuff. And it also is going to work with the LMS that I'll show you at the end when you publish it. But it's basically got all the different options that you're going to want for a quiz that are super important for you, which is nice. We don't need to save our quiz because we don't need to put it up on the screen. We've got our interactions. What interactions are? I'm going to create a new interaction. You can see how it like pops up a new like almost program each time you open something up, which is kind of an interesting way that the software runs. But the interactions are basically like, what are you going to do to get your learners to learn? These are some basic interactions, things that you can do to help reinforce points. For example, like just to display different information good visually, or to use some design strategies, whether organizational or delivery strategies to deliver your content. So we've got like labeled graphics, hotspots. Those are the kind of things that I really like for learning. I love things like that. We've got like the all famous instructional design accordion, which instructional designers love to put in training, and they do have it. And things like tabs and glossaries, but they've got all the basic stuff good stuff that you're going to want to see here in a training piece of software. Let me close that. And then we've got this interesting thing called role play. Now, this is where it gets exciting. Role play is actually a branching, almost simulation type software. It's really cool, but basically what you do, and I'll click a new scene here just to kind of show you, you would write like a question, like what, you pick what day is today, and you don't know if the user knows or not. You click a character, pick someone, you pick a character. You can change whether the character is mad, happy, or whatever. You can also this fully customize this and add in your own images and all that good stuff. And then what we do is we actually add replies to the scenario. For example, what day is today? Let's say Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I have these different replies. Now, obviously, I've made this super easy just because I want to think of a really quick question. But where this starts to get cool, let me close this, is I take these replies and I drag and create a new scenario from the reply. So I can say, sorry, that's not the correct day. Do you know what day is after Wednesday? And I can start to add replies there and change her. I can even change the person, change what they're doing, click close. Now, what is it that I'm really creating? Let me just show you an example because I think that's the best way to do it. I think the best way to do this is just to show you the example of what this can look like. So this is a course that iSpring's actually developed. And I'm going to click play here, and we're going to actually play it. So here is what I just created. Now, not the same thing that I just created. You can see they didn't use a person. They just have text. Mike's computer is turned on and not locked, and Mike is away from his desk. Is anything wrong? What should I pick? Yes, Mike should have locked his account. And then we go to the next part. Correct, because I picked the correct thing. Continue. Oh, did we click something right? As you can see, I'm creating a scenario, which is really cool. And, each option says what you're actually going to do. You can also see that, they're going to show you what it looks like on the phone, mobile device, all that good stuff, because we know most of our users like to use their mobile device to take our training, even when we recommend that they do it on the computer. Okay, so let me just get that all pulled back up. So we've created this. So now we've only created one branching option here, which is going to Friday. And I can actually add a message like, thanks for playing, and click close. Now I can make 100 of these and all branch everywhere. Super cool way to make simulations. Just let me show you this, show you what it looks like here. All right, what day is today? Now we know if I click Saturday or Sunday, nothing comes up. But if I click Friday, I guess her expression doesn't match my answer. But you can see I can restart, finish. This is a super cool tool. Lots to play around with here. Just a lot to play around with here. This is a tool that really excites me. I think there's a lot of potential with it. All right, so moving on from that, we've got screen recording. Now, screen recording is basically screen recording. I click new recording, and what it does, it pops up on the screen, and I can actually create a software simulation with this. I can choose to just record the screen. I can use my camera, or I can use my screen and camera. I pick what I want to select. And I gotta include the exact dimensions. I gotta make sure that the resolution's good so that when I play it, it's gonna work. One issue I have a lot of times is some people like to record smaller than the resolution I'm blowing it up to. Make sure you're choosing the right size. I usually like to pick 1080p so that it records things correctly. So make sure that you're paying attention to that if you are using that feature. YouTube allows us to simply incorporate a YouTube video. And I gotta shut this part. And web object allows us to include web objects. Now we get to the look and feel of the software. And this is where it really starts to, there's a lot of cool stuff here, and you start to make it actually look like training, like that cool example that I showed you. Like, how did they make it like look so nice and look good? Well, let me show you. First, they have lots of slide templates, and the content library of iSpring is actually super impressive. They have quite a bit of options here, which I really like. So we've got lots of templates to make our slides actually look good. You pick one, you insert it, and then you can start to modify and make your slides actually look much nicer. Now, what I really like, their characters and their backgrounds are super impressive. We've got a bunch of characters here. And so we've got a lot of characters, first of all, to choose from, which is cool. Now, here's what's really interesting. Let's say like I pick someone. Look at all the different, I mean, just seriously, look at all the different poses of this person. I mean, just look at how many. I'm estimating 500 different poses of these people. All kinds of different people doing all kinds of different things. I mean, just look at how many options you have here. I think that's pretty impressive. Really like the characters. And actually, their backgrounds as well. There's quite a few backgrounds to choose from. Especially those like in healthcare, and we got the cartoonish like workplace and regular workplace, like lots of options for that. So for like HR, soft skills training, you have a lot of options for different backgrounds that you can just throw into a slide if you would like to, just to use as the background or to help set up a scenario or something like that. As I said before, the branching scenario options for this, because it's PowerPoint, are just great, especially when I show you like the icons. You can use your own buttons. These are our objects, just different things, like you can include a smartphone on a slide and put whatever you would like on it, that kind of thing. Our icons, they allow you to choose like different kinds of buttons and stuff like that, because one of the cool things, and I'll show you the player of this software too, but as I mentioned, since this works with PowerPoint, you got all the PowerPoint functionality. So to make this button do something, same thing as right click and add like a hyperlink from PowerPoint. Like it's literally, I can make it function just like using PowerPoint, which is awesome. Then we get into our slide properties. So I can change the title of all the screens. I can change the time, whether they're branching, what they're branching to at this point. I can change who the presenter is. Like sometimes when I'm developing CBT, sometimes there's certain parts of it that are actually instructor led. I actually just finished a project where one was. So change what's happening, who's presenting what, so that people would know. I can add different objects from here if I would like to, like just another way to do like add a quiz to a certain screen if I would like to do that. But these are my basic presenter options. There are options for like translator and stuff if you were to have like other language learners. Now, we get to the player, which is super important because it's the player. This is what the skin, what it's going to look like. Fortunately, there are a bunch of different options just by default that you can kind of play around with. So you can play around with like, what do you want the skin to look like? Then we can play around with all the color scheme. So we got lots of colors to choose from. We can play around with the layout. Like, do we want like, our notes and our slides like on the left or right hand side kind of thing? What fonts do we want that to be? Then one thing that I do like is that you can change the text here for various information, which is great, because some software I actually have to go in and edit the HTML5, some of the included files to change what the text is going to be. And then I can choose the navigation where you can choose like, what do you want to happen when the user goes back into the program, like always resume, prompt to resume, or always start over, that kind of thing, which is super important. All right, and the other thing is optimized course for smartphones. I did test this. I would just test it on and off, publishing your file to see how it actually looks. Because I found that sometimes it was better and sometimes it seemed exactly the same, which maybe just means I developed it well for the smartphone. So I kind of play with that. We have by default, selected our universal player. We can select no player. And that would mean if we have no player selected that we're using like those buttons that we would create in PowerPoint kind of thing for navigation. One thing that I really like is the video lecture option. What this allows you to do is actually have a video lecture. I think this is perfect for academia. I think this is really great when someone wants to deliver a message and talk. Be really cool for like a panel or something like that, to have your video up on the screen and then your slide or slides next to you. Now, I personally use the green screen because I have the tech, but most people don't have that kind of stuff. And this is a brilliant solution to that. I actually really like this a lot. I actually like this setup. I could see myself using this setup for different things. So that's kind of cool for the player itself. Then we get into the big one, which is publishing, which is what as IDs we really super care about. So first we have my computer, lots of options, HTML5 video, and then we kind of choose like what's happening here. Like, do we want it to be accessible or not? What's the quality? What's the size going to be? But we choose, and we would just click publish, and boom, we got our HTML5 file. iSpring has iSpring Space. Now this is something that there's some things that cost a little more money. I'll go through that in just a second when I talk about the price. This allows you to like actually save your file and have someone like work on it, look at it, or reviewers comment on it. Super important and something you do need. We use these kind of features all the time. iSpring Learn is their LMS. And then finally we get to actual real, like whatever LMS you're going to use. And you can choose like what format, what the LMS is using, and choose like are you using SCORM or whatever you're going to use, how you're going to publish it so that it's going to run on their LMS and you can track all the users and all that good stuff. And then finally we can publish to YouTube. And that's the software in like a really quick nutshell. We get to the cost of it, and you can download it for free for 14 days, which is good. Always need to be able to download this software and try it out. Especially for me, like in academia, for my students, they have to be able to do that because they can't always buy 100 pieces of software. Sometimes they just want to try it and that kind of thing. Usually what my program does is we buy software for our students and they're just able to use it as they're in the program. All right, so the business. So first of all, there's two options for all of this. So this is business, freelancers, academic. The iSpring Suite, I'm much more a fan of iSpring Max because in the Suite, you don't get the content library, all those cool images. You don't get the text-to-speech, and you don't get that cloud storage, course sharing, online authoring toolkit, the review tool, or the real-time collaboration. I think those are all key important things. Myself as a freelancer, like my consulting firm, and as an academic, I actually need all of that. So I would 100% just be looking at the Max. So as a business buying the Max, it's like $970 a year. Clearly, always pay attention to the date versus when you're looking from my video to when you're looking at the price because stuff changes with inflation. So I'd pretty much always recommend the Max. So there's the two packages you have to choose from. Freelancers actually get a pretty big discount, which is awesome for those of us that are consultants. So it's more like $690 for the year. Now, do I think these prices are high, low, or medium? I think they're pretty standard for the field. As I've said a million times, our field does not have 50 million users. We are a very small field, so software is always going to cost more than like a few dollars. This is a very good pricing for a freelancer. I think this is a pretty fair price. So $690 for the year is what you're looking at. The Suite is only going to be $490, but I totally recommend just going for you really just need that. And then academic, very similar to the freelancer price, but not terrible for academic pricing either. And remember, you do always have a 14-day free trial to try out the software first, which I highly recommend you do to make sure you like it. But honestly, like giving my review of this software, like just scrolling through this website, I mean, I could scroll through this page and tell you like my whole review of this. I was pretty impressed with the software. I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool, and it's an interesting piece of software. It works really well with PowerPoint. I'm really happy to see that it does that. I love that because it makes it so much easier for myself and my client. It does all the things I need to do as an ID, like video, PowerPoint, to convert SCORM stuff, interactive role plays, and branching scenarios, super important. Lots of good publishing options. The text-to-speech I really like. I like that it works so well with PowerPoint. It does have a feature where you can actually take like PDFs and turn them into like a little interactive book, which is super neat. Just a super neat feature that I think is really cool. Like they have all these little like hidden tidbits that I just keep finding. The video lectures I really like. Just everything about it I thought was really good. I'll be honest with you. I really like the software. I'm happy with it. I'm going to start including it in one of my multimedia courses. It's a great piece of software. I think my students need to know how to use it, and they need to include iSpring as part of their portfolio. So that's what I think if you're an ID, what I think of the software. I also think we're probably going to be using it for some projects in my consulting firm because it's very useful and some of the features are a little different than what I'm seeing out there in the field. So I think that it's got its place and I think it's a great piece of software for you to give a try. So I'd love to know. I tell you, go try it out. I'm going to put some links in the comments. Go try it out. Let me know what you think and tell me in the comments. Good luck developing.